What is a girl like me supposed to do? A girl like me who was a finalist in the 2024 Miss Chinese Vancouver Pageant, who now knows way too many juicy details about how the show actually works. I mean, I could keep my mouth shut and pretend like I don't know what I know and not talk about what I experienced, but unfortunately for Fairchild Television, I have gained back all the confidence that they took away from me, and I now remember I have this thing called self-worth. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab some popcorn, because I'm about to start a war with Canada's #1 Chinese TV network. I mean, on a technical level, they're the ones who started this war with me, because you see, the thing is, the pageant results, the whole show, it was fabricated, which quite literally defeats the point of the competition. Okay, I did not sign up for a rigged beauty pageant. I did not sign up so that I could have my time wasted. I did not sign up so that I could get used and manipulated and lied to my face for 3 months. And I just feel like the whole thing was so orchestrated from the beginning, because the staff, they pretty much controlled how we appeared. Like for official events and photo shoots, we were not allowed to pick our own outfits. We were not allowed to do our own hair and makeup. And the stylist even said, she's like, I'm aware that our makeup sponsors, they're not the best makeup artists in town. Okay, her words, not mine. So she was saying, like, even if your makeup turns out not looking good, don't touch it. Like, don't touch your makeup. Don't fix the way you look. And she made it seem like there would be such a big consequence if we were to touch our own makeup. And no offense to the makeup artist last year who did my makeup, but I really did feel the most ugly I have felt. Like, yeah, okay. So I definitely felt like it was a little bit of a setup. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, y'all made me look ugly. Okay, I'm just gonna say it plain and simple. This kind of relates to how during the pageant, there was such a power dynamic imbalance with the staff where, you know, like the staff, they were harsh towards some of the other girls as well. But with me in particular, I literally got bullied by the staff about my physical appearance, about not being able to dance as well as some of the other girls who have had years of dance experience, when even though like dance was not a requirement to join the pageant. And not just that, but I think the most unfair thing they had me do is, because everyone knew I was a talented DIY girly, like I was always making stuff, so they had me make my own costume for the show, which no other contestant was required to do. So while everyone has moved on with their lives, I have remained pissed for about a year now, and I have a lot of rage bottled up inside me that I'm going to let out in this video. So I'll talk about all the unequal treatment that I received and my personal experience a little bit later. And before I get into the details of just how fabricated the show actually was, I first want to give you some context as to why I think I got bullied and why I was often picked on. And I'm sorry I'm saying that with a smile on my face, but looking back, like, it's actually so ridiculous the way they treated me. So for context, okay, I'm gonna have to take you guys back all the way to the very beginning in September when the pageant first started. So the day that I'm talking about here was our official contract signing day, where all the contestants and the staff, like, we all met each other in person for the first time. So we were sent the contract less than 24 hours before we had to officially sign it. And that night when I read the contract, I noticed there was a typo, and it was already like super late by the time I read it. So I just thought, like, okay, I'm gonna go there extra early the next day so that I can ask about this thing, this typo. So I got there extra early that day, but I guess I was too nervous and excited at the same time about meeting everyone in person for the first time, so I completely forgot to ask about the typo. It wasn't until the first person was signing the contract did I remember about the typo. So I put up my hand in front of all the other contestants, in front of the staff, in front of the lawyer and the witness that was there, and I asked them about the typo. I'm like, excuse me, I think there's a typo in the contract. And everyone seemed very confused at first, but long story short, I did not realize how much of a ruckus this would cause, because they ended up needing to reprint all the contracts, and that pretty much delayed that day's schedule by like half an hour to an hour. And even though on a technical level I saved the day, so to speak, by noticing the typo, you can tell though, like, when the staff, when they were looking at the contract and realized that they made an error on their end, they seemed a little bit embarrassed, in my opinion. And especially, you know, like in Chinese culture, like seniority and like respecting your elders, like that's a huge thing. So I think by me pointing out that there was a typo in front of everyone, I think I accidentally humiliated the staff. The thing is, like, the typo, it was actually such a minor typo where they just typed the year wrong. Like, it was supposed to say 2025, but instead of 5, they wrote 2024. So it was just the 5 and 4 that they typed wrong. So I think if I didn't bring it up, there wouldn't have been an issue. And I think by me bringing it up, it caused more of an issue than if I did not bring it up. So, oops. And also some of the other girls, I felt like they looked slightly intimidated by me and my accidental power move. So I ended up getting involved in a little bit of drama, like a little bit of a lot of drama, which I'll briefly talk about later as well. But first, let's get into the fabrication of the pageant. So Fairchild Television has always advertised this idea that external people get invited to form the distinguished panel of judges. And this distinguished panel of judges are the ones responsible for selecting the winners on final show day based off of contestants' performance. So given this information and not being familiar with legal jargon, when I read in the contract on the sole discretion of Fairchild, I did not realize that that meant Fairchild Television, they get the right to select whoever they want as the winner, regardless of the judge's opinion. And like during the pageant, while I was in it, I was told about how like the results are predetermined and how, you know, like the winners were already selected and all of that. But at the time, I don't know why, I was like so in denial. Actually, I do know why I was in denial, but that's a story for another time.
Denial is a river in Egypt.
It wasn't until after everything ended did I go back and read the contract and Google what sole discretion meant. So legally speaking, while the contract does legally give Fairchild Television the right to select the winners themselves, but the fact that they never disclosed this information and how they intentionally deceived the public and misled contestants, it not only falls under unethical business practices, but false advertising and misrepresentation is actually illegal in Canada. Just letting you know, just FYI. And looking back, there were definitely signs and clues that pointed to the results being the way they ended up being. The first example of this is during the pageant, this Hong Kong actor, singer, producer guy, they were working on this vertical series project, which they are now turning into a movie. And basically, as contestants, we were used as extras for this vertical series project, where we performed 2 dance sequences. So on that last day of filming, after we were finished our group dance sequence, the pageant staff who was in charge of us girls that day, she told the rest of us to go back downstairs, and she told 3 girls to stay behind to film an extra scene. And who were these 3 girls that got to stay behind to film an extra scene? They were no other than Miss Champion, Miss First Runner-Up, and Miss Second Runner-Up. Now, mind you, the filming for this project happened in late October of last year, and our final show for the pageant was on November 28th. Of last year. But while filming for this 1 month before the final show, these 3 girls were already standing in the exact gold, silver, and bronze formation that they later would end up standing in 1 month later. It's really hard for me to believe this was simply just a coincidence, and I just find this whole scenario to be so funny to the point where it's not funny, because the whole plot of this vertical series is about how rigged and corrupt the entertainment/pageant industry is.
Everyone's got a price, and you have to pay to play.
Pageants can make you or break you.
My contract will be the end of you.
I'm just trying to do what feels right.
Never come back.
So looking back, it's so trippy because it's like I was living the plot of that series in real life, in real time, while being in it and filming for it.
Pageants can make you or break you.
That's suspicious.
Such a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Like, I don't know how to explain it. If you still want to believe that's just a coincidence, just hang on. Another little not-so-coincidental coincidence that I noticed is that last year during the pageant in early November, we had this like photo contest. When it came to displaying these photos at the mall, just take a look for yourselves. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. So as you can see, the photos of Miss Champion, Miss First Runner-Up and Miss Second Runner-Up, they're all kind of like zoomed in close-up shots, which in my opinion really stands out when you line up all the photos, whereas the rest of our photos are all kind of like medium shots where we're like directly looking into the camera. It just seems like another coincidence that is too much of a coincidence to have been a coincidence. And yes, I'm gonna be bold in all caps and say it because I know we were all thinking it. I just feel like the whole photo contest thing was orchestrated so that Miss Champion, Miss First Runner-Up, and Miss Second Runner-Up, they could stand out and appear superior in the public's eyes.
The halo effect is a cognitive bias, where a positive impression in one area influences opinions about other, unrelated areas. This means a single positive trait, like attractiveness, can cause a person to be perceived more favorably in other qualities, such as intelligence or kindness, even without evidence.
So that when they did actually end up winning less than 10 days later, the public would be like, oh yeah, like those 3 girls who stood out, like yeah, of course they deserve to have won. And you can go ahead and call me a petty jealous biatch all you want. At least I'm a bold petty jealous biatch who isn't afraid to call out BS when I see it. Now, regarding the Miss Photogenic Award, a little birdie told me, a little birdie who knows a little birdie who may or may not know a very important little birdie, apparently, allegedly, the Miss Photogenic Award, which was supposed to have been determined by public votes, it was apparently, allegedly, supposed to have gone to another contestant. You see, the very interesting thing about last year's Miss Photogenic Award is that because last year was the 30th anniversary of the Miss Chinese Vancouver Pageant, the staff told us contestants, hey girls, like we want to make this year extra special, extra extravagant, and like we want more engagement, we want more attention, we want more people to know about this pageant. So in order to achieve this goal, they made last year's Miss Photogenic Award be supposed to have been determined by an online public voting game. But once again, can we pull up the contract real quick? Yeah. It says on the sole discretion of Fairchild, which means that the public votes, they were kind of irrelevant. Because you see, what this means is Fairchild Television, they could select whoever they want as Miss Photogenic, despite whoever actually received the most amount of votes. Like, the votes, they don't actually matter because on the sole discretion of Fairchild. And just analyzing this whole situation myself, it completely totally checks out for me because the girl who the award was actually supposed to go to, like, she just has a lot of street cred, okay? And not only that, but out of all of us contestants last year, like, she did indeed have the most amount of followers. And I'm not saying like, oh, all of her followers must have voted for her to have made her have the most amount of votes. I'm just saying, like, she also has some connections, possibly like a relative who is a celebrity in Hong Kong, and I know for a fact like they posted to vote for her on their story. So I'm just saying, like, if we just talk logic here, if we just talk numbers, yeah, like Fairchild Television, y'all should have done the math. So remember how in the beginning I said I got involved in a lot of drama? Well, this one girl, she tried to sabotage me by breaking my stuff, and I do not have the energy to talk about that story today. I'll save that for another video for another time. And looking back, it was so childish and very like elementary school what she did, but she met her match because I'm just as childish. And she actually inspired me so much, I ended up writing a little song about her. It's called Miss Pretty Genic. You can go read the lyrics to that song if you want to figure out who I'm talking about. I don't like her at all.
When you're on stage, you sure like to play coy, but behind the scenes, you like breaking people's toys.
But basically, during an individual conversation with one of the pageant staff, she had found out that someone tried to sabotage me, so she asked me who I thought it was that did it. And I didn't want to say who it was at the time, but to my surprise, this staff member, using one hand, she gestured that contestant's number and asked, like, is it her? And I mean, I could gesture that number right now, but I won't. Don't worry, I won't do that. Since she guessed correctly, I nodded my head like, yeah, it was her. And she's like, yeah, we can tell. She's very competitive. She's very aggressive. We don't want someone like that to be champion. is what she said. I was quite flabbergasted when she said that, cause what do you mean? Like you guys don't want her to be champion? I thought the distinguished panel of judges select the winners. I think like she really did feel bad for me to have told me like we don't want someone like that to be champion. But just for the record, knowing what I know now and knowing even more information, I just feel like even if she did have a good personality, they were not gonna let her be champion for other reasons that I cannot discuss. And to this girl, I just want to say, I hate to have had to expose you like this, but this is what you get for trying to sabotage me, okay? You have to realize that while I was planning my first revenge scheme, you haven't even learned how to walk yet. So, take a seat, sweetheart. Moving on. In terms of the unequal treatment that I received, so the main thing that really psychologically messed me up was the amount of body shaming that I received from the staff. And before I talk about these issues, I want to first make it clear that I believe that beauty can exist in all shapes and sizes. So when I say what I'm about to say, like this is just me describing kind of what happened. But pretty much from day one, it was very clear that my body type, my curves, it did not fit into certain staff members' ideal Chinese beauty standards where, you know, they prefer... Okay, and again, I'm not here to body shame anyone else. I'm just saying, like, most of their dresses that we had to wear, they were made to fit like that. And so when oftentimes, like, I couldn't fit into the dresses and, yeah, like, it was hard. And it is still kind of hard for me to talk about this stuff now. I just specifically remember when I received the phone call telling me I got accepted in and asking me to confirm whether or not I want to join. I asked the staff that I was on the phone with, I asked her, will I be required to be a specific weight for the pageant? And she told me, no, like we don't require contestants to be a specific weight, but you can go look at previous year's contestants for reference. So I'm like, okay, cool, right? And then little did I know, like less than a week later, in person with the stylist, it was like the stylist, okay, like, oh, this is hard to talk about. Yeah, it was mainly the stylist who put a really hard time on me for my physical appearance. She told me, like, she was quite shocked when she saw me in person wearing my swimsuit because of my waist, like how wide it is, because she said she saw my audition photo that I sent in my application, and she said that like in that photo I looked slimmer, and she asked me if I photoshopped the photo, and I told her like no, I didn't photoshop it, but I did wear like shapewear to cinch in my waist. And she just said like, I don't know, like at your height, which for reference I'm 5'4.5", she said that at my height I should only maximum be 110 pounds, and at the time I was 120 pounds when they weighed me for the first time. So after that conversation, which happened on the first week of the pageant, I, without realizing it at the time, but looking back, like I definitely already was starting to spiral down into a very dark place. You see, the thing is, there was no healthy way to have lost the amount of weight that I lost in such a short period of time. We had fittings like quite often, and whenever I was not able to fit into something, like yeah, it was really hard. And actually towards the end of the pageant in November, I think I actually started to yo-yo. Definitely like on the final show day, I was not in very good shape, like both mentally and physically. I wasn't healthy. Getting told constantly that like you need to keep losing weight and you need to work harder, it just completely destroyed me, because on one hand I weighed the least I had ever weighed in my adult life, but on the other hand, from all the comments that I was receiving, I felt enormous. And at some point, I came to the conclusion that it wasn't about the weight, but the things that I got told, it just made me feel like I was taking up too much space in this world, and yeah, it was really hard. So yeah, there's really no way to just like tie a nice bow to this situation. And also another aspect of getting body shamed was how isolating it felt, because all of the other contestants, they would often go out to eat together, but I think like throughout the 3 months of the pageant, I only ever really joined them to eat like twice, because it's like after getting called fat and needing to lose weight in front of everyone, it doesn't make me want to eat in front of everyone. So I don't know, the whole thing was kind of hard to navigate, because I mean at the end of the day it was a competition, but then at the same time it's like the staff, they wanted us to be friends with each other. But then also in the beginning when we were all kind of friendly with each other, I remember there was this one time the staff, they said to us like, girls, don't forget this is still a competition, because I think they saw us like laughing and having too much fun. So it's like the staff, they were kind of like starting up drama for no reason, and I don't know, like kind of pitting us against each other a little bit. And I will say, like, I definitely feel like I did bond with some of the girls, but due to my personal attachment issues and also just like the dynamics and feeling like I got betrayed and all the drama and, you know, like the backstabbing, and I don't know, like it was crazy. It was actually wild and crazy. So yeah, like interpersonal relationships wise, in terms of the pageant, like it was confusing and a very interesting experience, and I don't think I'm gonna ever go through something like that again. So I do see the beauty in that. Anyway, now that I've gotten all that gushy mushy feeling out of the way, back to exposing. So another example of the unequal treatment is how Miss Champion, she definitely received special treatment throughout the pageant since like the very beginning. So for example, for certain occasions, we had to bring in different outfit options for the stylist to approve. And the stylist, she was very, very strict about us handing things in on time. And long story short, one time Miss Champion, she didn't hand in her outfit before the deadline, but there seemed to have been no consequences for her, and she was allowed to just like bring in another outfit the next time we had a fitting. So that set of outfits was for like our poster outfit, and you can see like on our poster we're all wearing these outfits, right? And for the photo contest that I mentioned earlier in this video, we were supposed to wear the exact same outfit, but you see Miss Champion, she got to change her outfit because the original blue dress that she brought in, it didn't actually fit her, so they needed to clip it in the back. But since the photo contest was in real life, in person, so they let her bring in a different dress. The thing that pisses me off about this though is how one of the outfits that I originally brought in, it was also loose on me because I had lost weight. And the stylist told me like, if we decide to go with this outfit, you're gonna have to go get it tailored. So the fact that she was allowed to hand in her outfit past the deadline without any consequences and not be required to tailor the outfit to fit, and then allowing her to completely switch the outfit altogether for the in-person event, yeah, that just does not sit right with me. On the topic of outfits, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I had to make my own costume outfit for the show, which no other contestant was required to do. For context, for the show last year, there was a special segment dedicated to celebrate and acknowledge the 30th anniversary of Miss Chinese Vancouver Pageant. So what made this segment so special is that we got to wear a previous contestant's outfit. Oh wait, except for the fact that I did not get to wear a previous contestant's outfit because I was required to make my own outfit because they did not have that previous contestant's outfit in their archive, so they told me I had to make it myself. So when the stylist showed me the outfit and told me, I want you to make this, I told her like, I don't think I can make this because you see, like I never actually learned how to sew professionally. I never learned dressmaking. I don't actually know how to make something just like that, okay? I don't know how to do that. So I told her, and she's like, oh no, like it's so simple. Like you just sew the fabric together and then you attach the skirt part. If it's so simple, then why didn't you do it? So it's like she didn't give me an option to say no. And once again, this is another example of how, you know, like the power dynamics, it was so imbalanced. So then I asked her, like, if I make the dress, can I at least reimburse back the money that I spent on the fabric to make the dress? And she's like, oh, well, like, we'll see. It depends how much it costs. And from her response, I could tell, like, she didn't actually give a, you know, so I never brought it up again. And another thing that just absolutely boils my blood about this situation is how the contestant that I got assigned and the contestant that Miss Champion got assigned, those two previous contestants, they competed in the same year in 2009. So all the way back in 2009, both of these contestants wore the sporty outfit that Miss Champion wore, and both of them also wore the dress outfit that I had to make. And you can see, like, the outfit that Miss Champion was wearing isn't the exact outfit that the previous contestant wore, but they gave her that outfit, okay? Like, she didn't have to go make it herself. So to me, it's like, why didn't you give me a sporty outfit, and why didn't you tell Miss Champion to go make that dress herself? Because at the end of the day, it was a competition, and this type of treatment was absolutely ridiculously unfair, and yes, I'm still pissed off about it. So yeah, making the dress and sourcing the fabric, that took up so much time and energy that I could have spent on practicing and rehearsing for the show. And just 1 week before the show, the dress, the seams, like they started to rip apart. So the dress, it was like falling apart. So I ended up having to take it to a tailor to get it fixed, which cost like $165, okay? And as you can see, like the dress, it doesn't even look good. The fabric is like bunching up. So it looks like a hot mess minus the hot part. And another thing is that, as you can see, with the previous contestant, she's not even wearing a choker, right? But the stylist, she told me she wanted me to make a choker using the remaining black tulle fabric from the tutu part of the skirt. But once again, like I'm literally in the middle of a beauty pageant competition. I'm not in a DIY contest, so I don't know why you want me to make all this stuff. And so I just brought in existing black chokers that I already own, but she's like, oh no, like that's not what I'm looking for. I want you to make it yourself. So yeah, I just felt so targeted and picked on, and looking back at the footage, I feel like I look like an absolute clown in this costume, and that's how I feel like I was treated as well. Another thing regarding the outfits is that for our opening dance number outfit last year, I was assigned this sparkly silver jacket, and as you can see, there is a slit in the elbow part of the jacket, and upon trying on the jacket for the first time and dancing with it on, I already told the stylist, like, this jacket, it is causing a hindrance in me being able to dance the choreo, because there were some arm movements and the sleeve, it kept getting caught. So yeah, it affected my ability to perform. And I expressed this to the stylist thinking that this was a serious concern, you know, like I wasn't complaining about the appearance of the jacket. I was telling her, you know, this is causing some malfunctions. Can we do something about this, since, you know, there's still time to change? And her response is kind of similar to her response previously, where like she did not give me an option to bring up my concerns. She just said, like, how is it affecting your dance? Like, just dance and don't let it affect you, is what she told me. So in that moment, I was kind of, again, just like I don't really know how to respond to her sometimes. But for another fitting that we had for those outfits, she did help me pin the sleeve up a little bit, which helped a little bit. And I asked them, can we like remove the bottom part of the sleeve altogether, so then it's just short sleeve, so then at least it's not like dangling, because that's how it felt. But she's like, no, like if we remove the sleeves, it's not gonna look as cool, and that's not the effect that I'm going for, is what she said. Oh yeah, and also I want to mention, all these conversations that I'm telling you about, they happen mostly in Cantonese, so I'm kind of paraphrasing here. But her point was that she was not going to remove the sleeves. And once again, during rehearsals, the morning of the final show, while dancing with the jacket on, it affected my performance. And I brought this up to the assistant stylist one last time. I'm like, can we please like just remove the bottom part? Because this bottom part, it's like such a hindrance. And she's like, well, there's really nothing we can do about it at this point, because, you know, everything's been approved by the executives. So I found this clip of me dancing and I've slowed it down. And I know it looks like I'm having so much fun, but the sleeves, they were so uncomfortable. Like, just imagine having a slinky wrapped around your arm. I imagine that's how it would feel like. And you see, the thing is, like, once I messed up one part of the choreo, I kind of ended up messing up other parts as well. So yeah, I do blame the stylist, I'm not gonna lie. And this was such an issue because, once again, this was supposed to have been a competition. And we were told that our performance, our dancing, all of that, you know, that's what our score would be based off of. So it's like weeks before the final show, I'm out here telling you, this jacket, it's affecting my ability to perform the choreo, which will therefore affect my score, when, you know, I thought this was supposed to be a fair and square merit-based competition.
Oh yeah, it wasn't though, cause on the sole discretion of Fairchild.
And you know, like most of the other contestants' outfits had no sleeves at all. So it's like, if at least all of the contestants had this hindering sleeve, then fine, I wouldn't complain. And in this clip, you can see that the jacket overall, like it was just so clumsy, it was flapping around everywhere, which the contestants beside me, they don't have this issue now, do they? I just feel like this is another example of how the whole show was orchestrated to make certain people look good by making certain people look bad. Regarding a pair of heels that we had to wear for the final show, long story short, we purchased these heels from one of the MCVP sponsors last year. We were told we would all get a discount. I think it was like 20% off for the heels. So the stylist said, like, girls, if you have no problems, go pay for your heels. And upon closer inspection, I noticed that the heels that I was given, the bottom of the heels were two different colors, okay? Like one was beige, one was black. So it was like a mismatched set of heels. They weren't even a pair. So I asked the stylist, I'm like, can I get a bigger discount for this? Because they're not the same. And at first, like before she got mean, she was like, okay, like let me go ask the owners. So she came back, she's like, yeah, they can give you 30% off. However, upon even closer inspection, I noticed that the heels itself, like the nude color of the heels, they were two different shades of nude. So it wasn't just the bottom that was different, but the top part of the heel, like the heel itself, they were completely not a set of heels. They were completely mismatched. So at that moment, I asked her, I'm like, can I get a even bigger discount since they're like completely two different heels? And the stylist, like, this is where she gets mean. She's like, this isn't a marketplace. Don't bargain with me.
In this very moment, Justine discovered she should pursue a professional career in impersonating mean people.
If this isn't a marketplace, then why are you selling me marketplace shoes? At least marketplace shoes, they usually come in a pair. Just saying. And this one other contestant, the shoes that they gave her also looked busted. Like they looked worn out. So the two of us, we were like, we don't want to pay $80 for busted looking shoes. And then there was this other contestant whose shoe size ended up being the same as mine, but she thought her feet were bigger than they actually were. So it turns out like we were the same size. But you see, the thing is, like, she also did not want to take those busted looking heels either. And so we were given the option to buy a brand new pair at full price, which we agreed to because we did not want busted looking heels. So then me and the contestant who had the same shoe size as me, we go up to pay, right? And I pay first. After I finished paying, I waited for her and I noticed that she got a discount. So I'm just like, wait, what's going on? Like, how come you get a discount? And she's like, oh, I don't know. So then I go back in to ask the stylist, like, excuse me, how come she gets the discount and I don't? And she's like, oh, like I already discussed with the owners earlier, like she gets a discount. And at that point, I'm so fed up. I literally say, I'm like, I don't think this is fair. And the stylist kind of just like mocks me. She's like, you don't think that's fair? You're not happy? I don't know why her saying that and her being so mean just made tears start to build up in my eyes. And I remember walking out of that store, like I had to do this. I had to look up so that the tears don't come falling down. The whole experience just felt so humiliating and belittling and just unfair once again. There's a dozen more things that I could go on and on and on talking about, but the last little incident that I want to talk about in this video is regarding my talent performance. Long story short, this one particular staff member who I am very tempted to say their name right now, but I will refrain myself from doing so. Basically, they cut off 12 seconds of my talent song, and this particular staff member tried to gaslight me to think that they did not cut my song short. For our talent songs, we got to choose it ourselves, and I chose Mamma Mia by ABBA, and let me tell you, I have listened to that song enough times to know if you have cut 12 seconds off of it. The original length of my talent song was supposed to be 1 minute and 39 seconds. And I will say, during various rehearsals leading up to the final show, I did have technical difficulties with my talent performance. So I did get asked by the staff, they're like, do you need your song to be cut short? Because we noticed at the end you don't have any choreo. And by the way, my talent performance, I was doing quick change, and the thing with my quick change act is that I'm not actually a professional, so I didn't actually have my choreo timed with the song. So what I'm saying is that it would have been better for my song to have been longer than for it to have been shorter. So during rehearsals the night before the final show, when practicing for my talent performance, not gonna lie, like, it was an absolute mess. And you know, there were like other factors that contributed to that, but it wasn't until the rehearsals the morning of the show did I really realize that they shortened my song, because I got to hear it very clearly. So I asked this other producer, the one who I want to name drop but will refrain myself from doing so. Actually, I don't know if they were a producer or if they're like, I'm not sure what their exact job title was. I think it was something else, but she like seemed to have a lot of power. And so I asked her, I'm like, excuse me, I think my song got cut short. And she's like, no, like, we didn't touch your song. And she denied it. She's like, we didn't shorten your song. We didn't touch it. We didn't do anything with it. And so this happened 2 or 3 times, where like by the 3rd time, after I finished rehearsing and I came back not being able to complete my choreo in time, and I just looked at her, and without even saying anything, she just got straight to denying. She's like, I already told you, like, we didn't touch the song, we didn't change anything. But you see, like, I have ears and I have a brain, so I knew I was getting gaslighted. And even though I knew I was getting gaslighted, the psychological harm that comes with gaslighting, where I was questioning my reality, that definitely did happen. And to this person who I desperately want to name drop, I just hope you know that I have since gone back and rewatched my talent performance multiple times, and I can indeed confirm that I was right and you were wrong. And not only were you wrong, but you're also a gaslighting liar who tried to lie and gaslight me hours before I was set to perform for national television. So I just want you to know that I am currently putting up an invisible middle finger up at your face right now.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
Something else I want to mention is during rehearsals on the morning of the final show, we got to practice the award ceremony portion of the show. So during rehearsals, each contestant, we got to practice winning something, and like everything was scripted, right? The MCs, they were reading off a script, like number blah 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 won this award for like blah blah blah. So they went backwards, starting from number 8. I was number 7, so number 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. The 5 of us practiced winning those like secondary awards, and then from number 3, 2, and 1, they practiced winning the main awards. And while the official first runner-up and official second runner-up did not get to practice winning first runner-up and second runner-up, guess who got to practice winning Miss Champion that morning? Yeah, it was Miss Champion herself. She got to practice winning champion. She got to practice accepting the crown from the previous year's champion. She got to practice her whole champion walk and wave. She got to practice it all of it, everything. She got to practice.
Yes, this is the face of a girl who smells bullshit.
Quite frankly speaking, I do not think it was a coincidence whatsoever. I think it was intentionally planned so that Miss Champion could practice and be prepared for when she actually won champion later that evening. And while all of the events mentioned in this video is what I consider to have led to my villain arc, I do in some strange, demented way kind of appreciate what happened. I think maybe because deep down I was actually meant to be a villain. Like, this whole process of revealing the truth was so enjoyable for me. There's just so much freedom in being able to say whatever I needed to get off my chest and not care about kissing rich and powerful people's asses. And if you're interested, you can, again, go and read the lyrics to the songs that I've written about this whole experience. I had like a crazy manic episode over the summer and I wrote like over 30 songs. I'm calling my album Mayhem, Chaos, Violence, Pain, MCVP. You didn't think I would do that, did you? Yeah, I'm psychotic like that. So yeah, you can go check that out. And right now I just have the voice memos recording of the songs, and I will release more of the songs soon. Maybe not soon, but like eventually. So yeah, thank you so much for watching me expose Canada's #1 Chinese TV network and the Miss Chinese Vancouver Pageant. And just thank you for listening to me yap about this rage that has been bottled up inside me for the past year. I really appreciate it. And to Fairchild Television staff who's watching this video, don't worry because I will be talking about this for the rest of my life. Okay, love you guys. Mwah! Bye!
Are you gonna sue me for defamation? You can try, but unlike all you cowards, I haven't told a single lie.